Welcome to The Deep Dive. We cut through the noise to get you the insights that really matter. Today, we're zoning in on POWERGRID, huge player in India's power sector. We want to give you a clear picture, what's actually important in their recent developments.
Yeah, it's definitely a fascinating time to look at a company like POWERGRID. I mean, when you think about India's energy demand, its growth, infrastructure companies like this are just, well, it's fundamental, strategic.
Right.
Their resilience, how they expand, how they innovate, it tells you a lot, especially with the market doing what it's doing right now.
Okay, so let's dive straight in then. First thing that's been making waves, POWERGRID's position as a defensive bet, particularly after that recent stock correction. We're talking POWERGRID Corporation of India here, central transmission utility, market cap over, 2.65 lakh crore rupees. It's massive. Basically a bedrock company.
Near monopoly, really, on a vital service.
Exactly. So it gets labeled a defensive stock. But, there's been this 11% stock correction over the last 6 months. That's got people looking closer.
Right. And defensive stock, what does that actually mean for you? Well, it means companies like POWERGRID, their earnings, their stock price.
Yeah.
They tend to be less jumpy when the whole economy swings.
Because people always need electricity.
Exactly. Boom or bust. The lights need to stay on. So utilities are generally stable, like a foundation.
Okay.
Now, that 11% dip, mostly put down to a, let's say, subdued first quarter performance. And the monsoon dragging on longer than expected, impacting some project timelines.
Right.
But the key thing here, I think, is how deeply POWERGRID is woven into India's long-term energy plan. That dip is probably not a fundamental crack, more like a temporary ripple.
A ripple in a strong current.
Sort of, yeah. Because underneath, you've got this rising capital expenditure, capex cycle, and a really solid pipeline of transmission projects. That points to future revenue.
So that correction, you're saying maybe it's actually a strategic entry point for long-term investors, perhaps, looking past the short-term noise?
That's certainly how some are framing it, It's about that underlying strength.
Which actually leads us perfectly into their Q1 financial results for FY26, because the headline said subdued, but the numbers, and maybe more importantly, the reasons behind the numbers, tell a more interesting story. So on the surface, Q1 FY26. Revenue growth was modest, just 2% year on year.
Right.
And EBITDA saw a slight dip, down 5%. Net profit also dipped, about 2.5%. Those are the figures grabbing attention.
But, and this is crucial, why did they dip? Our understanding is it wasn't about the core business weakening. It was mostly kind of operational noise.
Noise? Like what?
Well, temporary things, one-off factors, like higher spending on corporate social responsibility, CSR, philanthropic stuff, and also significant upfront costs tied to their new smart meter projects.
Okay, so investments for the future, not recurring drains.
Exactly. These are strategic moves, not signs of ongoing operational problems. The underlying business looks robust if you look at the consolidated numbers. Total income for the quarter, rupees 11,444 crore. EBITDA, rupees 9,527 crore. Profit after tax, rupees 3,631 crore. And maybe the big one, gross fixed assets, their physical infrastructure backbone, rupees 2,092,446 crore.
Wow.
That number really shows their indispensability,
Yeah, that context is vital. It changes the whole picture of that quarter, doesn't it? From maybe problematic to just having some unique pressures. And that robustness, that has to be tied to how much they're investing in the future, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about their capex, the capital expenditure and that massive project pipeline.
Absolutely. Capex is the big flag for future growth. Revenue visibility and their work in hand. Basically confirmed projects they still need to build. Yeah. That's jumped to rupees 1.49 lakh crore.
Broad.
From rupees 1.4 lakh crore just a year ago. That's a huge order book.
Yeah.
Gives them incredible revenue visibility for years out.
Okay. And the actual spend in Q1 FY26?
Consolidated capex for the quarter was rupees 6,981 crore.
Which is up quite a bit from Q1 FY25, right? That was around 4,600 crore.
It is up substantially, yes. Rupees 4,615 crore in Q1 FY25. So it shows they're still investing heavily. And commissioning projects getting finished and switched on until July FY26, that totals rupees 2,806 crore. Also up from last year's rupees 2,429 crore in the same period.
And they have ambitious targets for the full year, too.
They do. They're aiming for rupees 28,000 crore in total capex for FY26 and rupees 22,000 crore for commissioning. These are big numbers. Shows real momentum, a clear expansion plan.
And can you give us a sense of what these projects actually are on the ground?
Yeah, absolutely. Some really significant ones commissioned recently. You've got the Khavda-II and Khavda-III stations, crucial for getting renewable energy out of the Khavda region.
Ah, connecting the green energy push.
Exactly. Think about India's massive RE targets. These connections are vital. Then there's the Dausa substation. They commissioned that in a record 8 months. Super fast.
Wow.
And the Namsai-Kathagori transmission line. That one was finished 5 months ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
So it's not just scale, it's also about efficient execution, getting things done.
That efficiency is key. So, beyond the money side, how does all this play out in their day-to-day operations? Because reliability is everything in this sector.
It really is. Operational excellence means the lights stay on for millions. And POWERGRID's record there is, well, it's incredibly strong. System availability consistently around 99.84% up to Q1 FY26.
Almost perfect uptime.
Pretty much.
Ah.
For a country the size of India, that's phenomenal. It's that essential reliability you just take for granted until it flickers.
Right.
Plus, they operate something like 84% of India's total interregional networks, capacity of over 100,000 milliWs. That's not just market share. It's fundamental to national energy security, making sure power gets where it's needed.
That dominance is foundational. But it sounds like they aren't just sitting still. What about innovation? Are they embracing new tech to stay ahead? Future-proofing.
Yeah, and this raises a really important point about how tech is securing essential services like power transmission. They're bringing in things like crane-based tower erection, mobile tower cranes, makes construction faster, safer.
Oh.
They're using drones for pilot stringing. That's a huge help for speed and accuracy, especially in tough terrain. Less risk for workers, too.
Drones, interesting.
And maybe the most forward-looking bit, they've rolled out an AI-based defect detection system.
Ah, predictive maintenance.
Exactly. Moving from fixing things after they break to preventing problems before they happen. Using data to spot potential issues early, boosts reliability, makes maintenance smoother.
That sounds like a serious upgrade in efficiency. Okay, so with all that foundation laid, looking ahead, what are the big growth drivers? What's going to power POWERGRID's future?
Well, a massive one, tying directly into national policy, is renewable energy integration. India is aiming for 500 GW by 2030.
Huge target.
Huge. And POWERGRID is absolutely central to connecting all that new green generation to the grid. Now, project bidding was a bit slow in Q1, but the expectation is it's going to ramp up significantly. Right now, projects worth around rupees 40,000 crore are under bidding, and there's another rupees 1 lakh crore already approved for future bidding. That's a massive potential workload coming down the track.
Wow, okay. That scale is incredible. Really highlights their role in the energy transition. And it's not just the core transmission business, is it? They have other income streams.
That's right, diversification helps. Their consultancy arm, for instance, brought in rupees 329 crore total income in Q1 FY26. They won 11 new orders, managing 70 ongoing projects, so they're selling their expertise too.
Leveraging their know-how.
Exactly. And their telecom segment, using their vast network infrastructure, that also did well. Rupees 289 crore total income in Q1. These add to the overall financial health.
And all this feeds into their future spending plans.
It does. It leads to their pretty substantial future capex guidance. They're targeting rupees 28,000 crore in FY26, and then aiming for rupees 35,000 crore in FY27. That guidance really underlines a strong outlook. Execution and revenue should follow.
Okay, let's try and pull all these threads together then. What does this whole picture mean for someone looking at India's infrastructure, the economy, the bigger picture? It really does seem like that stock correction is being seen differently now.
I think so. When you put it all together, the steady operations, that massive growing project pipeline, the alignment with national goals like RE, the tech adoption, it paints a picture of a quality utility company, one with potentially limited downside risk. You've got strong fundamentals, solid regulatory backing, and that huge visible pipeline of work. The current valuation, around 15 times FY27 estimated earnings and 2.6 times book value.
Yeah.
Well, some analysts are calling that highly attractive.
Right, so it's not just about looking back, it's about that forward momentum. The engine seems to be revving up.
Yeah, as project commissioning ramps up, as transmission activity gains even more steam, the company looks, very well positioned for future returns.
So what does this all mean for you as you consider the landscape of Indian infrastructure? What we've really tried to unpack today is how a company like POWERGRID, despite maybe some short-term bumps in the market, shows this deep resilience, strategic positioning, and really significant growth potential ahead.
Mm.
By looking at each piece, the defensive nature, the financials, the huge pipeline, the operational side, the tech subsidiary, you get that fuller context. You see its pivotal role in India's energy story.
And maybe that leaves us with a final thought, something to chew on. What is the truly indispensable role of these huge infrastructure companies like POWERGRID? They're not just enabling the energy transition to renewables.
Right.
They're fundamentally underpinning the country's wider economic ambitions. It's that silent, essential backbone for pretty much all other growth.
Yeah.
Often unseen, but absolutely critical.
A powerful thought indeed. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. And just a reminder, we are not SEBI-registered financial advisors. If you are considering making any investment decisions, please consult a certified financial advisor.